Well, hello there, it is me, the disembodied voice. I'm sorry I won't appear on camera today, but that's for two reasons. First of all, making an hour-long, fully edited video about the MMO kinda takes the wind out of you. But also, my throat is getting sore and I really don't wanna push it. So today's episode will be a bit shorter. However, there is still a lot to talk about. So... Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rift News! The show you are most likely watching because you are surprised about the new skins just like the rest of us. Speaking of which, let's dive right into the new skins. After all the teasers on PBE, League of Legends got the Fright Night skins. These skins are very special because at first, everyone was skeptical. They were supposed to be based on the original Gothic theme, but these were just so different from that. And many people even called them bad. Well, fools on you, because everyone was surprised to see that these skins turned out to be extremely good. And that's not just me saying this. This was the general feedback Riot got. The reason for this is because these skins have a very unique style, which we have never seen in League of Legends before. And it's not that the skins just have a unique theme that we have not seen before. It's that these skins have a completely different philosophy. They simply mimic what League of Legends looked like in 2008. They have fake cell shading, which was made popular by Telltale Games, and also the Borderlands series, but the Zoomers may not realize that this is kinda what games looked like in the past. But Riot pushed it further. They purposefully gave the champions a lower amount of polygons. That's the main reason why these skins look different. But while they have lower polygon counts, the textures are still sharp, which gives it the high quality feeling. Together, this gives you a perfect blend, which is simply called stylized graphics. And of course, all of them are themed after the horrors of Tim Burton. In fact, a lot of them have Tim Burton Easter eggs in the art. The first skin we got is Annie, which, by the way, is not replacing Gothic Annie. This is a standalone skin. And since Tibbers is a really big model, you can really notice the high quality textures on him. The spells have the beautiful stop-motion animated styled swirls, and overall it is all just something remarkable. But yeah, Tibbers is just awesome. Then there was Draven, which people were skeptical about, me included. The concept didn't really feel like the rest. But once again, the cell shading is amazing. It doesn't feel like the zombie slayers in any way. In fact, his chainsaw axes look like cardboard props, which perfectly imitates the style again. And then there is Nautilus. Because of the smooth, ghostly style, he does have a bit less cell shading than the others. But this is compensated for, because his spells still have the fake pen scratching textures over them, to once again imitate a hand-drawn style. Then there is Renata, who is brilliant for one simple reason. Even though Renata is really new, this skin shows us what Renata would look like if she came out in 2008. And it is absolutely awesome. This brings me back to the old Halloween maps. And yes, those binding ropes are absolutely beautiful. Then, the best one out of these might actually be Trundle. Not only does he push the art style to its limits, but since only his pillar is a visually appealing ability, they made it incredible. And in this skin, the pillar is a witch hut, which is also modeled in the exact same style. And lastly, there is Urgot, the embodiment of the Tim Burton style. Both the model and the abilities are great, but by far the best part of this skin are the hand-drawn ropes you get on your screen when you get ultied. This is such a brilliant touch. You can tell Riot had so much fun not just with this skin, but the entire skin line. But to make this skin line even better, all of them have amazing chromas. And that's because the color palettes are very simple. There is a primal dark color and a secondary vivid color. All you need to do is to change the bright colors, and you still get a color palette that makes sense. That's why even all the chroma skins are brilliant. But then, after each brilliance, there is usually a fall. And this time, that would be Ashen Knight Silas. Or at least that's how he was first presented. Riot made a mistake in the naming, so they took their videos down, and then they revealed that it is actually Ashen Slayer Silas. With this name, I think Riot is self-aware that, yes, Silas doesn't really look like a knight. That's why he's a Slayer. But with this skin line, people actually expected knights. You know, Elden Ring styled skins. That's what Pyke was about. He even introduced the Bonfire Ward. But after him we got Shirtless Pantheon, which many people didn't like because it was too close to the Ruined Pantheon. But in general, people just wanted armored knights, not a shirtless fighter. So, Riot gave us another shirtless fighter, who also has glowing abs. And even though I didn't really mind Ashen Knight Pantheon, I do mind the fact that Silas is a bit close to him. So yes, Riot, if you are going for more Ashen Knight skins, make them actual Ashen Knights. Give them armor. The irony is, Pyke is the only one wearing armor, even though in the base skin he does not. And then for the last skin on PBE we have World's Azir. Generally, people think that this skin is fine, but I have to point out that it is very cool how he has all the flags from all the championships on his robes. But yes, the main point of the skin is that it is very different from the original World's theme. It is no longer dark blue and glowy. Now, it is a robot. I don't know what its message is about the future, but I can tell you one thing, a change is not always good, as you can tell by the feedback on the new World's Cup. But that's really it for League, so now let's move on to TFT. TFT launched its mid-set. This included a mid-set cinematic and all the cosmetics we talked about previously. Riot also released a separate trailer just for the cosmetics if you are interested. What's interesting though is that already we got a PBE drop for TFT 2. And there we got 5 new draconic versions of Hauntling, 4 for each element and an Elder Dragon. And the same goes for Silverwing, which also got 5 versions for each of the dragons. And on top of that, yes, there is a new Chibi champion. This time it is Kaisa, who also gets a Dragonmancer version. And you bet that means there is going to be a finisher animation. But that is really it for TFT 2. So now, let's move on to Legends of Runeterra, where we got a roadmap. This roadmap is interesting because it reveals some really cool things. You can see that in October we are getting a new Darkin saga called Dominion. This will include 3 new champions and an Arclight event. Now, since we are probably getting more Darkin, and since the Arclight skin line has Darkins in them in League, I think this might be teasing what sorts of Darkin we will get. The most obvious one is probably Aatrox. Yes, I know, in the recent video about the Darkin that I released, I somehow missed the fact that Tarosh calls Aatrox his general. Thankfully, a lot of people were eager to correct me. But yes, this most likely means that we are getting Aatrox as a new champion, who will also get an Arclight skin. Since these event skins are always a combination of skins that exist in League and some brand new ones, I wouldn't be surprised if for the second skin that also exists in League, we got Arclight Varus, both as a new champion and as a skin in the event. Which would leave us with the third champion, who could be just anyone really. Just like we got Nora now, I don't think the third champion will be a Darkin. Then in November we are getting the World Championship, so there will be a lot of balancing around worlds. And then in December we are getting the final Darkin chapter. This will give us 3 more champions, Corrupted Event Part 2, which means more corrupted skins. But also, looking at the art, I really wanna see what the heck that is. You know how we got the Watcher in the Freljord? That looks weird because it was tainted by people, that's why it has human limbs? I think this is also a Watcher, but this one was buried in Shurima, so it was tainted by the Darkin. In fact, even after Zolani, we don't really know where blood magic came from. What if in the north the Watchers came out with True Ice, And in Shurima, they came in with blood magic. From the story's perspective, Riot can absolutely make this work. It's not like ice is iconic for the Watchers. The Watchers are in the void and they don't really have elemental magic there. They are just using the material that they gathered. So yeah, long story short, I hope that's a Watcher. What's more interesting is that you can see that every single month, Riot is adding in new champions for PvE. So you know how everyone was afraid that Path of Champions would burn? Yeah, I don't think that's happening. And lastly, they announced that for 2023, there will be more Legends of Runeterra exclusive champions. You know, maybe like Necrit. But there will also be new ways to play, as well as including rotation. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like rotations, which is basically Riot limiting what cards can be and can't be used in ranked play. But from the very beginning, Riot always said that rotations are inevitable. The more cards you add in, the more difficult it is to balance the overall game. And just to make sure the game doesn't burn, they will have to limit it somehow. But don't worry, they will not, for example, ban the lurk cards, because they are core for Bilgewater decks. So I suspect the limitations will be lighter than people believe. But anyway, that's it for Legends of Runeterra as well. So now, let's end the news with Wild Rift. Here we are getting a lot of cool things which a lot of people will appreciate. First of all, we got 4 new champions announced. There is Gwen, Yone, Warwick, and Vex. All of whom work the exact same way as they do in League, and their HD models are gorgeous. When it comes to gameplay, they are adding in new support items. There is Spectral Scythe for offensive supports, and Relic Shield for defensives. And these items upgrade based on gold, just like they did in League. There are also new boot enchants. Since most of them are defensive, there is now a Meteor enchant, which gives you a tiny bit more damage, which is good on bursty supports. And there is also the Protect enchant, which amplifies your healing and shielding. For balancing reasons, Redemption enchant will now pop off a bit faster, and because, as I said, there are a lot of defensives, the Locket enchant will now be turned into a magic shield only. But this is where the fun starts, because Wild Rift is also introducing a brand new, never seen before game mode, 1v1. This is the version of the game Riot used for their fun events. The first to get a kill, or destroy a turret, or get 100 CS wins the game. This is awesome, and it is great to see Wild Rift is not afraid to experiment with game modes. When it comes to the more competitive side, they are also adding in new items. There is Riftmaker as a new AP Vamp item, and Cosmic Drive, which is a haste AP item. Then they acknowledge that the Legendary queue was quite a success, but they are adding in a new gate to prevent people from playing bad champions. Now you will only be able to pick champions with a certain mastery level. And because all of this is coming in with a new season, we are also getting a new glorious skin, Glorious Crimson Draven. Then there is also the new Wild Pass, which is changing the ways you get its rewards. It now caps at level 50, and from levels 51 to 75, it gives you currency which you can spend in the Pass Emporium shop. Since there are a lot of people who hate Battle Pass systems, this is a nice way for Riot to back away from the grindiness. Your grind will now end a lot sooner. And after you get to level 50, it allows you to claim the rewards in any order. So if you really want just one item, instead of grinding all the way to the end, you play a few games and you get the one item you want, and then you would be done. While this sounds nice, with that said, yes, the Battle Pass is still a paid thing. So yeah, you still pay in order to be able to play and get your rewards. They also announced that there is a new random skin chest. Instead of getting completely random skins, you can now narrow them down to a specific lane. And finally, after the explorers and the detectives, the big skin for the pass is Superhero Jace. And since the skin line usually continues for the next 2 or 3 passes, I would expect 1 or 2 more superheroes in the future. And then there is something awesome happening. For the next event, Riot is adding in a new idle game within Wild Rift. which allows you to earn event rewards even if you are not able to play games. The idea is that you train a fighter and let him battle. So yeah, remember that PvE RPG minigame from Star Guardians? Wild Rift is casually adding in another one of these minigames. Man, Wild Rift is just so much better than League at this point. And lastly, when Vex launches, it will be probably during October during the Bewitching event, which will have its own bingo of missions that allow you to earn rewards. Man, really, even this is so much more interesting than just missions. And as Riot always does, they ended the video with a skin montage. There is Groovy Gwen, Crystal Rose Yone. For the fighting event there is Supreme Cells Zed and Supreme Cells Kennen, Bewitching Misfortune, Bewitching Vex, Bewitching Morgana, and Old God Warwick. But that is it for this episode of Rift News. Even though I'm not feeling that well, the news around Riot's games are pretty good. It seems like everyone is just steadily having fun. And I know, you are all waiting for another big MMO video. But I'll take my time with the next one, which may be my last one. But in the meantime, there is another matter which we need to focus on. That the goddamn sexy Hecarim is just such a good character in the Ruination novel.